The Indian cricket team looks set for the Women's World Cup, but is there something that they have to watch out for?
We have 8 days to go for the World Cup, and the World Cup happening at home for the Indian team. There will be a lot of expectations on their shoulder. The fact that the Indian team has played the most number of ODIs this year as compared to any team participating in the World Cup just goes to show that we have got all the match practice that we need heading into this World Cup. The World Cup kicks off with the two hosting nations, India and Sri Lanka. It'll be interesting to see how deep the Indian team can go because it's one of the best Indian teams going into the World Cup. Now, before we talk about the matchups, players to watch out for from each opposition, and the record India has against them, hit that subscribe button. But before that, here's a little promo from our membership. But his IPL numbers are better.
There are a lot of people who think that Dhoni has not fulfilled his T20's potential, and that's because they look at his IPL numbers.
MS Dhoni in the IPL, and is he a better IPL batter than he is for the Indian team or in the international?
Short answer is yes. The thing that stands out here is he has been responsible for a couple more losses as opposed to international. And then there is one innings where RCB plays CSK 2019 where he almost pulls off the impossible.
Talked about how MS Dhoni and AB de Villiers in international T20 cricket sucked. Would you consider franchise cricket versus international cricket? But because
the format is simple. India will be playing 7 teams through the World Cup, and if they do well enough in the group stage is when they'll qualify to the top 4, the knockouts, and from there hopefully a final and a World Cup victory. Now, in terms of how these matches are scheduled, it is quite interesting the kind of sides that India is going to be playing in what positions. While we start off our campaign playing Sri Lanka as well as Pakistan, from there is where the next 4 matches are going to be extremely crucial. We play South Africa, Australia, England and New Zealand back to back, and we close the campaign off with a game against Bangladesh.
like we talked about, the World Cup opener is between the two hosting nations, India and Sri Lanka. India have a fantastic record against Sri Lanka where they've only beaten us thrice in the 35 games so far in between them. What is interesting is the fact that India have lost against Sri Lanka this year in a Tri-Series tournament. Sri Lanka, like the Indian team, have played a lot of matches heading into the World Cup where they played 8 matches, have lost 5 and won only 2 of them. Some players to watch out for from the Sri Lankan side is the highest scorer this year, Harshita Samara Vikrama, where in 8 matches, she scored 336 runs with an average of 48 and a mild but decent strike rate of 76. Even though she has no hundreds in the 8 innings that she's batted, she has 4 50s. And a bowler to watch out for, and this is a 20-year-old right-arm off-break bowler who's only played 4 matches in her ODI career, and all of those 4 matches have come this year, is D. Vihanga. And she's already the highest wicket taker for Sri Lanka this year. After playing 4 matches, she's picked up 11 wickets. She's the only bowler to take more than 10 wickets, and she already has a 5-wicket haul with an economy of 5.3. Interestingly, she's the only bowler this year to get a 5-wicket haul in the ODI format for Sri Lanka. Now, when you go back to the game where Sri Lanka did beat India this year, there are a couple of interesting observations to be made. Even though India batted decently well to score 275 by the end of 50 overs in the first innings, Sri Lanka was able to chase it down and win it by 3 wickets. For starters, Kashvi Gautam limped off the field after bowling just 5 overs, which meant that Pratika Rawal had to be used as a 6th bowling option. So we were obviously a bowler short. Not only that, we won the best on the field, we had a lot of misfields and dropped a couple of catches. But more interestingly and impressively, the second highest run scorer for Sri Lanka this year, Nilakshi Silva, scored her highest score this year, 56 of just 33 deliveries. The Indian bowlers weren't able to bowl well at the death and weren't able to contain her attacking shots. She finished off the innings with a strike rate of 169 and making sure Sri Lanka get over the line.
When it comes to Pakistan, we all know that they haven't really been the best team out there, and especially against India, they've never won a single game of ODI cricket. Currently, Pakistan is playing a series against South Africa, which augurs well for them in terms of game time, but here too they're losing a lot of the games. However, the positive for Pakistan this year is that in the 7 matches that they've played thus far, they've won 5 of these games. They went unbeaten in the World Cup qualifiers. With the bat, Sidra Amin has been a standout performer for the Pakistanis as she's got 200s in just the 7 innings at an average of 78. She's also got 350s and clearly is in a purple patch, and India will want to ensure that they can get her out early. With the ball, it's been the season for Fatima Sana, where in 7 innings she's got 12 wickets at an economy of 4.8. This right-arm medium-fast bowler is someone that once again India India will have to ensure that their openers can negate so that they can build a long partnership and a long innings. Along with the medium pace of Sana, Nashra Sandhu and Sadia Iqbal have been the two slow left-arm orthodox spinners who've been the second and third highest wicket takers for Pakistan this year. Both of them have got 10 wickets, also at a very close economy of 4.17 and 4.22 respectively. And because of the fact that this World Cup is happening in the subcontinent, these two become extremely important players for Pakistan.
And after these two games in the World Cup campaign, we look at South Africa as a third opposition. Of course, they are playing the ongoing series against Pakistan, but so far, South Africa this year have played 9 ODI matches, have won 5 of them and lost 4. And in these losses, India have beaten South Africa twice. The player to watch out for South Africa is Tasmin Brits with the bat. She's been on red hot form, the third highest run scorer this year, just behind Pratika Rawal. And with the ongoing series, it won't be a surprise if she goes past her too. She's had 3 back-to-back hundreds, and in this series alone, she has had 2 hundreds against Pakistan. In 9 matches, she scored 643 runs with an average of 91, but more impressively, she's had a strike rate of 94. She's the only other batter apart from Smriti Mandana to have 400s this year. Another batter to watch out for, especially as a finisher role, is Annemarie Dirksen, where in 9 matches she scored 332 runs with an average of 47, but she's a batter to watch out for is because of her strike rate. She has a strike rate of 111. She also in these 8 innings that she's played has 100 and 250s. The Indian bowlers, especially at the death, will need to be wary of the South African batters, because if you look at these numbers, you'll realize that a lot of these players have a strike rate of more than 100 or at least more than 90. So these batters can be explosive and can take the attack to the opposition to ensure they get to a big score. And the bowler to watch out for, who's the highest wicket taker for South Africa this year, and she is the bowler to watch out for because she's also a left arm spinner, and because the World Cup is happening in India, she will come in handy, and that is N. Mlaba. In 7 matches, she's picked up 13 wickets. She's also the only bowler to get more than 10 wickets with an economy of 4.9.
And from there, we move to the strongest team in world cricket right now, and that's Australia. Here's a side that we've never beaten in an ODI series and have not had much luck against them even at World Cups. Australia this year have played just 6 games of ODI cricket, but they've absolutely dominated, winning 5 of these fixtures. The only loss that came this year was in the recently concluded India vs Australia series, where they lost to India in that second ODI. Of course, it's the usual suspects who are the leading run getters for Australia this year around. The likes of Ellis Perry and Ashley Gardner are always there, but this time around, Beth Mooney is the highest scorer in this calendar year for Australia. Courtesy at 138, she now tops the run charts for Australia. In the 6 innings she's played, she scored at an average of 64, but more importantly at a strike rate of 110. On the bowling front, it has been the leg spin of Alana King that is the highest wicket taker for Australia this year around, and she's the only player to get 10 plus wickets. She's got 12 wickets this year in the ODIs that she's played for Australia. In fact, in the world of cricket, ever since her debut, she has been the 5th highest wicket taker as well. Australia use her very interestingly, where she's brought on in the middle overs, and in fact in the second half of those middle overs to choke oppositions. The only plus point for India and how they can possibly tackle someone like Alana King is by ensuring that they have left-handers in the mix. We also saw this in the third ODI, where because Smriti Mandana was going hammer and tongs, Alana King was introduced way before the 30th over into the attack. Australia, of course, is going to be the side to beat this tournament, not only because of the fact that they are one of the strongest sides, if not the strongest side, but because India is very likely going to be facing them in some kind of knockout situation more often than not. And India can, of course, take heart from the fact that they have beaten Australia recently, and they'll just have to ensure that they get everything right, because with Australia, it's a team with killer instincts, and it's a team that usually wins the crucial moments.
The game after Australia is a team that we have beaten this time around in their own country, and that's England. England this year have played 9 matches. They won only 4 of them and lost 5. The one game that India lost against England this year was in the series against England in England, where in the second ODI, for the most part of that game, India looked like they were cruising through to a victory until the England spinners came along and the Indian batters threw away the wicket. The batter to watch out for from this English team is the highest run scorer this year, Amy Jones, where in 9 matches she scored 410 runs with an average of 68 and a strike rate of 91. She also has 200s in the 8 innings that she's played. And of course, with the ball, it comes as no surprise, she's also the highest wicket taker this year overall in international cricket and for England, and that's Sophie Ecclestone. In 6 matches, she's picked up 12 wickets with an economy of 4.2. As a left-arm orthodox, the England team use her in every phase of the ODI format. She can bowl in the power play, the middle phase, but she's also known to be someone who can bowl at the death and choke the batters and make sure they're not getting away with the score. But someone else to watch out for is their own captain, Nat Brunt. She is someone who can contribute with the bat and the ball. She's also the second highest run scorer with the bat for England this year.
And from there, we move to a very interesting team because of the number of games they've played this year. New Zealand has played just 3 matches this year, and all of those came in a series versus the Sri Lankans. While one match did not take place, in the remaining 2 games, New Zealand won both of those fixtures. New Zealand haven't had the best of times recently because since Jan 2024, they've only won 4 out of the 14 fixtures they've been a part of, 2 of them coming in 2025. While there are some quality players like Captain Susie Bates, Maddie Green, Jess and Amelia Kerr, they really haven't been able to put their best foot forward for the longest time for New Zealand cricket. With the bat, Maddie Green has been New Zealand's best batter as she's got 376 runs since Jan 2024. However, this year is where she's been in better form as she got a century versus the Sri Lankans. With the ball since 2024, Jess Kerr has been New Zealand's best bowler. The right-arm medium pacer has got 16 wickets at an economy of 4.2. In tandem with her sister, the leg spinner Amelia Kerr is the second highest wicket taker in this period where she's picked up 14 wickets.
In the last game leading up to the knockout stages, India face off Bangladesh. The only time India has lost against Bangladesh in the history of WODI was in 2023. In this game, Bangladesh was bowled out for 152 and the Indian team just failed to chase. They got all out for 113 and there was a reason for why the Indian team couldn't get any runs, and that was because of the standout bowler Marufa Akhtar, who got 4 for 29 and just outpaced the Indian batters. They just had no clue how to go about facing her. The 2 highest wicket takers for Bangladesh, each of them have 10 wickets. Fahima Khatun has 10 wickets with an economy of 4.5, but more impressively, Nahida Akhtar in this year has 10 wickets, but since her debut, she's the 25th highest wicket taker. But what is impressive about all of this is the fact that in these 25 top wicket takers, she has the second best economy. She has an economy of just 3.8, and in all of the matches she's played so far, she's only conceded more than 6-7 times. With the bat though for Bangladesh, it's a mixed bag because the highest run scorer Sharmeen Akhtar does have an average of 50, but she strikes at only 68. And this is the trend that you see with these Bangladeshi batters, because even though they can consistently score runs, they don't score at a high strike rate.
And in short, that is a roundup of the different teams and what their players are who we need to watch out for coming into the World Cup. Now for India, it will be important that we strong start, but more importantly is that we don't lose our way in the middle games. India has back-to-back fixtures against some big sides like Australia, England as well as South Africa. They will have to ensure that they don't lose more than 1 or 2 games in that middle phase so that they can qualify through the group stage and get into the knockouts.
Now this has been a video on what might just be India's campaign in the World Cup heading to hopefully the knockout stages and then the finals. If you have enjoyed this video, like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below on the player you think we have missed but the Indian team should watch out for, and subscribe to our membership if you haven't already. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.